My condolences to you and your wife and everybody else on the passing of Dwight. I give you the floor about who he was as a man, Steve.
Jeez. Well, when you look back, I think right now for me anyway, it was the most recent memories I have is this past weekend, and so Gail and I had a chance to go up there, and it's kind of funny, Rich. He lived here in the Bay Area in Capitola, and so. And I think you knew this, that the guys, you read the book Tuesdays with Maury by Mitch Albom, right? And so we had Tuesdays with Dwight. And there would be 10, 15, 20 guys on Tuesdays going over to Capitola and having lunch with Dwight. And it was spectacular. It was story time. And it was reminiscing about, playing days and everything else. And it was as much therapy for us as it was for Dwight because, he would perk up. He'd be having some bad days at times, and then he'd start smiling and telling stories, and we'd all be laughing and, knowing that you don't know how many more days. But, sorry.
No, Steve,
So,
I knew this would be emotional for you, and but I also knew that you knew Dwight better than most, and I wanted to give you some time to have here on the show to talk about him. I mean, when you first met him, was that when you first took the 49ers job, Steve? Was that the first time you met him?
We all knew who Dwight Clark was when he made the catch, and he began that 49er dynasty, and that was the start of something really, really special in the National Football League, and we all know that. And how many times have we seen that call and that play, and to go ahead 28-27 over the Cowboys with 51 seconds left? I was watching that as a fan back in '81, and we all were. But I met him a couple times, but we became friends when I became the head coach because he was the GM of the 49ers. And I'll tell you what, boy, was he good. He was a worker. He won, Rich, 2 Super Bowl rings as a player, and he was the leading, we all remember the catch, but he was the leading receiver of the 49ers, the history of the 49ers when he retired. Jerry Rice came in. They drafted Jerry Rice to play with Dwight Clark, opposite Dwight, and then Dwight got hurt and eventually retired. And then Jerry went on to be the man, but it wasn't until Jerry and T.O. had all those numbers that Dwight's records were beaten. But we became very close then, and we're the same age and same generation, listened to the same music, and really got along and very well. And as you recall, he ended up leaving and going to the Cleveland Browns with Carmen Policy.
That's right.
And helped that organization start up again. But we remained very good friends all the way through. Yeah, I was with him this weekend. He told us during one of the lunches, he said, "Hey, I'm going to be moving." And we said, "What?" And he, he's a Bay Area. Well, he's from Carolina, but he's been in the Bay Area for so long, and this is his home. And he says, "I'm going to be moving." And we were kind of like, "Why? What are you talking about?" And he says, "Yeah, we're going to go to Montana and live up there and be close to Eddie DeBartolo, and we're going to get some acreage and place for horses and dogs to run around and quiet." And we never really got a good explanation from him other than, he wanted to. Kelly, his wife, enjoys that kind of lifestyle too, and maybe it was to get away from, a lot of people. And Richie was deteriorating pretty quickly, and so about a month ago we moved up there, and so I just thought that Gail and I said let's go see him. Because we have plans to be up there at the 4th of July, and Mr. DeBartolo throws a 4th of July party, and for friends and family, and it's huge. And we were thinking we'd see Dwight then too, but I just felt we needed to see him sooner than that. And I'm glad we did, because he was not in good shape. And he, in fact, after we left, I called Mr. D and said, hey, I'm really worried about him. And he came over and ended up having hospice care that afternoon.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.